Back here on Get Up with some breaking news. Again, we reported off the top of the show this morning that Tom Brady and the Buccaneers had not yet finalized a contract. A big piece of that, of course, is the physical. And according to our Jeff Darlington, the Buccaneers and Brady have now been able to agree on a doctor in New York who will be able to perform Brady's physical. Circumstances under which we are currently living, obviously making it very complicated for the Buccaneers, one of their own doctors, to examine Brady. But now it does appear that is well on its way to getting done. So that's good news. Meanwhile, this is the scene in Foxborough. This is a billboard 1 mile north of Gillette Stadium to Tom Brady from the Kraft family. And you see the sentiment there. Thank you, Tom, the greatest of all time, with love from the Krafts and the New England Patriots. And obviously there'll be a lot of that. He's saying hello to Tampa and saying goodbye to 20 years of unprecedentedly great history in New England. And we'll have Stephen A. Smith in a minute. And I've got Marcus Spears here. And, you know, it is sort of an unprecedented circumstance. No one has ever accomplished what Tom Brady did with one organization in the National Football League. So it'll be interesting to see how they handled it with his departure there in New England.
Gee, I think it'll be all love. I know we've talked about and lamented about the relationship with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, and obviously we know him and Robert Kraft had a great relationship, i.e. the last meeting they had and said it was time to part ways. But with that being said, man, this is football. This is the construct of football. I know everybody gets emotional and doesn't want to see it in, especially when somebody has been there for 2 decades and accomplished a tremendous amount of things that Tom Brady was able to accomplish with Bill Belichick. But at some point, just like the old school guys I played with used to tell me, you either gonna go out on your own terms or they gonna get you out of here. That's how everybody's career is going to end in the NFL, or thirdly, by an injury that's out of your control. So look, for all intents and purposes, we'll sit here 5 years from now or a few years after Brady retires, and it'll be all love from the New England Patriots and Tom Brady. This is just another step in his career. We'll talk about his years in Tampa. We'll talk about the things if he accomplishes something great there. But for the most part, we will talk and laud about the run that they had in New England, and all will be well when his career is summed up, said, and done.
Yes, I totally agree with that. What will be interesting to see is how much, if at all, we remember the Tampa years, and that will be determined by what they accomplish, because I think there is a comparison to be made with Brady and Michael Jordan. They each won 6 championships during unbelievably great runs with one organization. We generally forget that Jordan came back and played 2 years with the Washington Wizards because they just weren't all that memorable. It'll be interesting to see if he provides the kind of memorable seasons, a championship run or something close to that, that makes us remember Tampa at all when it's all said and done.
Gee, this is different, though. You think about the physical part of, obviously, you bringing up MJ and the NBA. MJ just ran out of gas and juice. Like, he didn't have that athleticism. I think it's important for us to note that we talked about earlier, at 40 years old, quarterbacks are still playing at a high level when we talk about Tom Brady and Drew Brees. And then Phillip Rivers obviously getting a deal for $20 being 38. So when you think about the opportunity for Tom Brady, and I'm sure that was a part of his decision making and it weighed heavily on what he was going to do. Tom Brady can go have as prolific of a season as maybe a 25, 27-year-old quarterback in the league, based on what the ability is around him, with Mike Evans and Godwin, and obviously Ronald Jones in the backfield, and O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate. He's in a position to have a tremendous amount of success. A 1-yard pass that goes 99, G, guess what that says on the stat sheet? A 99-yard pass for Tom Brady. So when we look back at this season, we're going to base it, obviously, off the success that they have playoff-wise, and if they have an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. But with that, if Tom Brady threw for 4,500 yards, it would not shock me one bit coming up at the end of the season, based on the things that surround him and how this offense can be constructed for him to have a tremendous amount of success.
Now, I want to bring something else up here, and I'm being told we're having some technical issues getting Stephen A. into the conversation, which was our plan here. And look, bear with us. We're dealing with really unusual circumstances.
You can hold this down.
But here's the thing.
Down, G.
So, Marcus, I had some fun yesterday. I finally got to do what you get to do frequently. I've been a viewer of First Take for a very long time, like everybody else. But yesterday, I actually got to yell at Stephen A. Smith on First Take because I so strongly disagree with the position that he took, and I'll bounce it off of you because it actually started on our show with the notion that Tom Brady might be smart to be getting into the NFC, where he is avoiding the young guns like Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, and it just feels like there is an easier route in the NFC to be had right now than there is in the AFC. And Stephen A. Smith took exception to that. I don't want to put words in his mouth. Again, he said it, but he was basically saying in order to be the man, you got to beat the man, and that he did not imagine Tom Brady fearing anyone. And I got into it with him. What do you think of the whole thing?
Well, when you say easy, obviously fear comes up, G. And you talk about the easier route going over to the NFC South. And obviously he has to beat Drew Brees and the Patriots. But, you know, I took exception to that, too, when we were talking. Well, he doesn't need to go to the Chargers because he doesn't need to be in a division with Patrick Mahomes. I get it. I understand that Kansas City just came off a Super Bowl. I understand that Patrick Mahomes is the new wave in the NFL. But the whole notion that Tom Brady, in his competitive spirit, was to avoid Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson in the AFC and run and hide in the NFC so he would only have to face those guys in the Super Bowl. It just rubs me the wrong way because we've talked about for so many years that Tom Brady is the ultimate competitor. Right. And he wants to have those type of games and situations, and we've seen him come out on top in majority of those. So when you sit there or when somebody else sits there and says that Tom Brady is running and hiding and scared and going to the NFC so he don't have to face them guys, we take exception to that because based on Tom Brady's history, he's never been afraid to play against the best.
Hold on a second. So there's a big difference between being scared and being smart. So I'm going to give you two options right now, Swagger. We're going to get together later. We're going to be about a mile apart from each other. And I'm going to say you can drive over and get there in about 3 minutes, or you can walk over and it'll take you about 25 minutes. And oh, by the way, it's 100 degrees outside and you're going to be hot and sweaty. You wind up in the same place both ways, but one is just a lot easier than the other. It doesn't take courage to choose the easier one or the harder one. It takes intelligence to choose the easier one. If he has an easier path to get to the Super Bowl, it doesn't make any sense not to choose it. That doesn't make him cowardly. It makes him smart.
Now, I'm going to pull out Mike Greenberg. I'm going to call you Mike Greenberg right now because you're pissing me off with this. Gee, in what world have we said that the adversity doesn't create the story for the player? In what career didn't we not see the hard way being the way that we remember you? I get what you're saying. Nobody's crazy, and we're not dumb enough to think that you possibly should take an easier path. Not in damn. In sports, we respect the difficulty of the route that you travel in order to become a champion. In sports, we laud and we talk about and we love the fact that you played with broken ribs and you had a torn ACL. Those are the things that we remember. We don't remember the cats that took the easier route. What are you talking about? I love you to death. You know I love you. But if we go back and we talk about Tom Brady's career being easy, and this is the way he took the path to be an easy route to get to the Super Bowl, we ain't gonna respect that more than we respect him coming back from 25 down against the Atlanta Falcons to win a Super Bowl, or having to play through some injuries, or dealing with guys being all around him, coming back at 40 years old and still playing at a high level. Maxton tried to throw him off the Grand Canyon for the last 3 years, and he's went and won and had success. Ain't nobody gonna talk about or mention Tom Brady taking an easier route. That's what I take exception to about it being easy. We don't remember guys that take easy routes.
I think, actually, you and I might be agreeing. If he winds up winning the Super Bowl with Tampa next year, there will not be a single person saying, you know, this one doesn't mean quite as much because he didn't have to get through Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes to do it. All right, I'm getting yelled at, and it's fun. Stand by. We're going to continue in a moment here on Get Up as we go. And it's going to be a very busy day.